you're going to do it, the audit should be worth it. The problem is, audits are hard. Yet we've issued over 20,000 reports to 2,000 clients worldwide.
Did a new version of Online Audit Manager, and we actually took that and brought it over because it was successful.
Cybersecurity and compliance will no longer be a mystery. Hey everyone, welcome back into our cybersecurity mission. My name is Allie Krings. Today we're sitting down with Radoll. How are you?
I'm doing great.
It's
good
nice
to be here.
to see you again.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
So here at Kirkpatrick Price, you are one of the senior solutions developers.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, it means I've been here a bit, and I understand a lot about the business side and how that can kind of relate to the software side, and just have worked on a lot of different things, and so yeah, I guess I've been around the block here.
You've done a thing or two. Well,
Yeah.
During this conversation, I really want to dive into kind of your background, your history, but also be able to kind of explore the topic of what a developer is, what do they do,
Sure.
because maybe we have somebody who's on the other side of this thinking, is that something I'm interested in? So
Yeah.
where did this all start for you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it started I'm just interested in technology and stuff like that as a kid, and
Like what was the cool like tech gifts that you would get for your birthday or a holiday?
I mean, we didn't get too many crazy things, but when we had the family computer and the upgrades of the computer, I was always the first one to be tinkering with that and do the most probably with that, and was just kind of, it was kind of my thing. Part of it was also I was the family's debugger. Like if there was the VCR's not working or something like that, it would be up to me to fix it. And so just like fixing things, and I don't know.
It just started
Just playing
sticking
around
with
with
you.
it. Yeah, it just interested me and seemed like something I was good at. So.
Are you still like the family go-to? Like when like your older relative needs to download an app, are they calling you?
Yeah, that is me. Yeah, I'm the tech support, the family tech support in a lot of ways. Yeah, I recently got married, and my aunt was down here. Thank you. And my aunt was down here for the wedding, and she was like talking to me all about this Facebook problem she was having, and she's like, "How do I do this?" Yeah, so
were you able to solve
it's very
it?
real. Sort of, sort of. Yeah, it's only so much over dinner talking you through you can do, but yeah, I think she got there.
So you were always kind of interested in technology, playing around with it, building things. Was there a time in high school that you were like, okay, now I've got to think about what my future looks like. What should I get my education in? How did you decide that?
Yeah, I was still interested in like web development and building websites and stuff like that. I actually took an online, Florida has some online curriculums that you can do around web development and stuff like that. So I didn't get too far with that stuff. It was a bit challenging for me actually back then, but yeah, it was it's probably the first time I actually dipped my toes in the water of trying to actually build a website and do some rudimentary coding and stuff like that. So that was probably my first actual experience with that stuff.
Do you remember what the purpose of your website that you were building was about?
I don't remember the topic. It was mainly just putting something up there that to go from not anything to actually being able to look at something online, and mainly about how to actually put that web page up on the internet and stuff like that. And it was long enough ago that I don't remember too many of the specifics. Yeah.
Or maybe you're hiding this from us so we can't do a quick Google search and find it again.
I don't know if it's actually out there, but if it's out there, I would like to see it. That'd be cool.
So what did you end up studying before you got to Kirkpatrick Price? Maybe we work backwards here.
Well, for me, I kind of went an unconventional route. I did that in high school, but it didn't quite click for me then.
Yeah.
So I actually was I'm into music and stuff like that. So I was maybe I'll go into production and maybe work on, whatever, sets and stuff like that, because that kind of stuff is interesting to me as well. And don't know, I didn't end up going down that path. I just kind of like started to, some economic stuff. I ended up getting into the workforce kind of earlier.
Yep.
And so I just kind of followed that path. And then I started working at a software company,
Okay.
doing like technical support and
Sure.
doing just like product setup type of stuff. So I was in there working with software like kind of behind the scenes and working with users. And that was really what got things going for me, because at that same time, one of my best friends was working there as a developer. And so, you know, we kind of like hang out and talk shop, and I was just really interested, like, what does you do? Like,
Yeah.
what is that about? You know, what does that actually look like?
And what did your friends say? I feel like whenever you talk with your friends about your job, you always give like a really generic version.
Yeah, fortunate for me, this friend is, he's super into anything and everything software development. So he could basically be a professor if he wanted to be. So he would just be like, well, what do you want to know? And, you know, he'd let me ask questions and pick his brain. And that really set me off, because, you know, I could, instead of wondering, well, how does that work? How do you do that? Like, somebody could actually tell me. And so a lot of things clicked. And, you know, we're still friends, and we still
Do you want to give him a
chat
shout
about
out?
that stuff. Yeah, Peter Crabtree. Yeah,
Peter.
yeah, he's a great guy. He's been in
That's so
software
cool.
development for like a long time, and yeah, so he was somebody that, just kind of helped me along my way at different points. So.
Do you feel like that first experience, you know, being able to kind of be the tech support and work with products, was that helpful in gaining more understanding as you started to turn toward development?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's informed just like the kind of things I like to work on, because I feel like I really started from that kind of user experience like level. To me, like how people use the software, you know, kind of the you know, their feeling about using the software, you know, whether it's a positive experience or a you know, not less so one, that's really important to me. And so I really like looking at it from that perspective. And, you know, that's maybe why I've gotten into knowing some of the business, you know, logic of things, because, you know, that's how our clients, and we serve, you know, KP staff as well as the clients. So it's, you know, two different audiences who are using the software to accomplish different things. And yeah, that part of it is really interesting to me. So I would say that like that kind of experience has kind of informed that and brought me here. Yeah.
So after, you know, chatting with Peter, he gets you kind of excited about development. Did you stay in that same company and like move into a different role, or what happened next?
Yeah, from there, I kind of, it was a good company, but I kind of felt like I'd done everything there, was just ready to do something
Ready for
different.
something new, yeah.
So once I had kind of, you know, been there a couple of years and, you know, had those conversations with Peter, I decided that I actually knew somebody else. I had another friend who had done an apprenticeship program in Tampa here with a software company. I don't know if they're around anymore, but you know, seeing them actually go from knowing nothing or knowing the very rudimentary stuff that I talked about, that you know, kind of the high school stuff I was looking at, and then seeing them, you know, go through all the different steps to actually where they get a job and are doing it professionally. That also really helped me, because it, you know, it just, in my experience with Peter, you know, he just seems like someone it's natural. That's just what he was meant to do. And so it, for me, it was a little harder for me to picture that. And so having this other experience with this friend who actually went through the process really kind of inspired me that like, oh, I could do this.
Yeah.
And so,
you know, I always think about this like, it's like the quarterback syndrome, where when you watch like a sport or somebody who's really good at something, they make it look so easy. And I'm like, wow, do you think the Packers want to start me next game? Because like, this is simple work.
Right, I can do that.
Until you start really looking into it, and it's like, oh, turns out there's a lot of work that goes into it. So, you know, you have one friend who's made it just look so effortless and natural and simple, but you were feeling a little intimidated about how that might turn out.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely had some doubts to overcome, and just thinking that I was capable of doing it. And so, yeah, like I said, seeing that other friend kind of go through that part of the process really was like, made it approachable.
Did you end up going through an apprenticeship then?
What I ended up doing was I quit that job I was at, just saying, like I had the ability to kind of like not work for a little bit. And so I started just by doing just like online courses and stuff like that. I did eventually end up in a program, but for a year and a half, I did just like whatever I could find online for free,
Cool.
and did like some introductory learning that way. I use something called Team Treehouse, which I think is still around, which they make like highly produced content for people who are really green to software development who want to get into it. So that was something that really helped me.
Were there YouTube videos as well where you were just trying to absorb as much information as possible?
Exactly. The other thing about getting into software development was just trying to find my lane, because it's a big field, and I didn't know what I liked yet, and so I was just trying to see, just get a feel for things, and see what would be my path with it.
What were a couple of the options that were out there, and what path did you end up choosing? Which lane were you like, let me stick in this, I feel good here?
Yeah, I mean, there's JavaScript. It was really the big thing when I was in school and trying to get my education. So JavaScript was basically the thing that everything was pushing, was like, this is the latest and greatest thing, and this is what you need to know to be successful. And so that was the biggest thing that was pushed. I mean, there's some some older languages that are more tested and stuff like that, but maybe they're not as friendly for the developer to use. They're kind of cumbersome because they're more antiquated and stuff like that. And so it didn't feel as friendly, as approachable, some of that stuff. And so that was kind of the options that were out there. And then also Ruby, which is what I do now. And, I really enjoyed, I ended up going to a software developer like boot camp program.
Cool.
I did the self-learn thing for a couple of years, and I had some success, but I found that I needed some structure to really make it. And so when I went through that program, I did JavaScript and I did a few other things. But when I really got to the development with the Ruby language, just something about that, the way it's structured, the way it's presented, it was created in mind with developer happiness is a thing that they wanted to push.
Too.
Yeah, it's a programming language for developers, and that something about that just clicked. It kind of reads like English, so it was a little bit approachable from that aspect, and it was just a cool moment for me, because I was finally like, oh, I really like this.
Yeah.
It feels like the thing I want to be doing. So
no, I love your story so much, because, and I feel like this really makes me sound so crotchety and so old. You know how like our grandparents used to walk uphill to school both ways?
Yeah.
And I feel like
in the snow.
In the snow, obviously. And then I feel like so many people our age, or maybe our parents' age even, we took unpaid internships. We took the free classes. There was a sort of like hustle and a grit that so many of us struggled for such a long time, because you just were trying to gain the experience and gain the knowledge. And today it feels like so many people want the dream job as the first job, and that's just not the reality sometimes.
Yeah, and I do think that's really interesting. That's part of the process I had to go through, was just realizing all of the steps you have to take to get to the place you want to get to, and realizing that, that's part of the journey. That's a good thing. It's like, even if, because I mean, like you're saying, there was a lot of instances I'd read online where it's like, oh, I just got out of my program and I got this job, and you're like, wow, if only, but it doesn't work like that for most people. And so, you just got to kind of get in where you can, and kind of show up and do the job that you're able to.
So in working through so many different tools, it was Ruby that you really enjoy working?
Yeah, the Ruby language, yeah.
Okay, tell us more about that.
Ruby is what we do here at KP for the most part, and I don't know. It's like I said, it was just approachable, and it kind of takes care of maybe some of the things that could kind of bog you down as a programmer. Kind of tucks it away for you, so you can kind of get on with what you need to do. And As an extension of that, we use a framework called Rails, which is kind of like it's like an evolution of Ruby that allows you, it gives you certain tools in the language to build the websites and all that kind of stuff. And that's been around since the early 2000s. And so it's funny because when I was doing my education, it was kind of past its heyday, and people were like, "Oh no, you should really learn JavaScript." But it just didn't connect with me like that.
Yeah.
And you know, part of the journey for me was like wanting to do something that I enjoyed and found interesting and fulfilling, and you know, not just necessarily to get the job done. I mean, there's plenty of things I work with to get the job done, but it was nice to have a basis that was just comfortable to work in. And another thing that comes to mind is it just, something about it felt inspiring. It felt like you could really get things done with it.
You know, technology rapidly advances.
Yeah.
When you think about somebody who's maybe, you know, curious about dipping their toe into this type of field and this type of work, do you encourage them to learn Ruby? Like you said, it, you know, was established 20 years ago, as well as JavaScript and as well as whatever they say the next big thing is?
Yeah, I absolutely do. I mean, I think it was really helpful for me to get exposed to, you know, the different things that you could be working with. And I do recommend Ruby just because I like it. I tell people like I think it's approachable for all, you know, all those reasons that I like it.
Yeah.
I'm like, so I'm a fan. So yeah, of course I tell people to check it out. You know, Python is another one that's popular. I do, you know, kind of, there's different things you can do in software, and so I, you know, try to talk to people and see where their interests lie, and be like, oh, well, this thing is kind of more used for that purpose and case, and so, yeah, I would definitely encourage people to try things because, I mean, I just feel like that really worked for me. That, you know, I found the thing that I liked, and so that really has given me, you know, the ability to keep going and keep enjoying what I'm doing.
If you could walk into the work, okay, you're coming into the office, and it's your perfect day. And by perfect day, I mean you are given the task that you look forward to the most. What is that for you?
I really enjoy like the design or like the UI aspect, like the actual, like the buttons and the colors and all that stuff, and shaping the boxes, and, you know, what you present to the user. Like I said, you know, part of the user experience side of things. And so, yeah, I mean, a perfect day for me would be, you know, come in, we do our weekly kickoff with the team, and, you know, kind of get oriented with what everyone's working on. You pick up an issue for hopefully UI type of stuff that like I was talking about, and then you know, sometimes we'll work off of a design. Sometimes we'll work off of just a sketch. You know, I want a button and you know, so it really depends. Or sometimes it's just an idea. Like we wanted to do this, and you know, just kind of go figure it out. And so some of I like all of that kind of. I like all of the in between. I like the translating a, you know, just like a flat design into something you can actually interact with. I enjoy being creative and actually coming up with, you know, what they're going to see, and kind of looking at it and tweaking things, and you know, doing that kind of process. I'm a creative person at heart, so like that really, I really enjoy that.
So you work on like the Kirkpatrick Price website?
Yeah. Well, the OAM application, the website's kind of separate.
So in the OAM, by the way, that's our online audit manager system.
Yes, online audit manager.
What, is there like an area that you worked really hard on and you're like, you know, if I could show you my portfolio in one area, this is what I'm most proud of?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of areas that I'm an expert in that I'm proud of is our, it's actually two different workflows for internal users, actually. So we have a reports team that, you know, they get all the evidence, and, you know, they work with auditors to create the report for the clients at the end. And, you know, that's a detailed process of, you know, they create it and edit and, you know, do all this back and forth. And so what I created is a workflow for them. It's basically like a checklist that they can go down and, you know, input the details that they need, and, you know, assign a step as done, and then, you know, upload the report to the user. And then also like built the client feedback portion as well. So it's mostly was for internal, but there's also a portion, you know, where clients can come in, they review the report, they can leave us feedback, and that kind of actually ties back into the workflow to, you know, tell the team what, you know, that feedback has been left. And so that was like one of the first projects I worked on when, the first really big project that I could sink my teeth into. And it ended up being successful enough that we did a new version of Online Audit Manager, and we actually took that and brought it over because it was successful enough, and have continued to build upon it. And so that's something I'm proud of.
That's so cool. That's really awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
So I love hearing about your story because we've taken a few different paths. You've had to work really hard to get where you are. You've done some things that you're really proud of. What does the future look like for you, or the future of like a developer? What would be some of the goals that you would have?
I always thought that the security space was really interesting, and it's obviously really important. I didn't know anything about it before coming here, and I've learned so much in the 7 years that I've worked here. And so I want to just further that and become more of an expert in security. There's a few programs that are kind of aimed at developers to get security certifications, and so that's something I want to pursue. I also had, as I was telling you, I had a lot of key people that have helped me along in my journey to get here and be successful, and so that's something I would like to help others with. We do have some junior people who are newer on the team, and so I've worked with them, mentoring and teaching and that kind of thing, and I really enjoy that. So I hope to do more of that. Do some more complicated software stuff, do some mentorship, and do, just expand my knowledge about security in that space.
No, Riley, I think that's awesome. I do have one more question for you.
Yeah.
You mentioned way in the beginning that you thought maybe you'd go into like production, maybe somewhere in music.
Yeah.
What style of music?
I actually like all kinds of stuff, but I'm really into the 2000s pop punk, indie rock kind of stuff like that. But I like all kinds of stuff. So I'm just a music fan.
What would have been your dream band to work for?
That's a tough question. There's a lot of good ones. This is kind of maybe an odd answer when I said 2000s pop punk, but I really think Metallica is a really cool band, and they have a really crazy live show, just in terms of the size of it and everything, and giant pyrotechnics and stuff like that. And so it'd be really interesting to be a part of that kind of machine,
That's awesome.
that kind of show and everything like that. So there's some really cool productions out there that
Cool.
Some,
Well, Riley, thank you so much for kind of pulling back the curtain and walking us through the life of a developer, how to get where you are. So I really appreciate that. For all of you who are listening today, I do want to invite you to go to our LinkedIn, search our cybersecurity mission. That's how you can join our page. You can stay updated on other interviews that we have, or if you have any questions for us, go to kirkpatrickprice.com/podcast. That's where our inventory lives. That's where we can also take your suggestions on future episodes. So Riley, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And we'll catch you guys again soon. When you work with a Kirkpatrick Price cybersecurity auditor, you work with someone who's been in your shoes. Let's see what the next expert is ready to share to support you in your cybersecurity mission.
Hi, I'm Jim Ryan. I'm an information security auditor at Kirkpatrick Price. I've been in information security for about 8 years, and prior to that, I was in IT management for about 15 years. One of the favorite topics that I have is application development, and I like to talk about static application security testing and software composition analysis. I like to remind clients to get your scanning done early and often to find vulnerabilities and prevent them from being deployed to production. This saves costs and delays in your product development.
Today's episode highlights the need for secure application development to achieve our challenging compliance goals. Integrating security in development in your build pipeline will strengthen your applications from attack. Are you ready to join a community of 10,000 people who are working together to elevate the standards for cybersecurity and compliance? It's free to sign up at kirkpatrickprice.com/podcast or check the show notes and achieve greater levels of assurance today. Thanks for joining us on our cybersecurity mission.